This is Zahid from FilingStack Accounting, and in this video I'll be discussing how to upload bank statements onto FilingStack Accounting software. After a client signs up onto FilingStack Accounting and logs in onto the profile, the first page that they are redirected to is the info page. On the info page, we have a list of companies that we would have added onto our profile. If we click on a company in the list, it would select that company, and we could then generate accounting reports for that company or add accounting entries for that company. To add a company, we can click on Add Company, where we could enter the details for that company. Once we click Add Company, we'll be redirected back to the info page where we could then select that company. In my case, I'm going to click on Demo Company. This redirects me to the shortcuts page, and in this case, I'd like to process this company's or bank statements for this company. So this redirects me to the accounts page. The accounts page is the page where I can upload bank statements for the company. If I didn't have this bank account added for these bank statements that I'm going to upload, I can click on Add Bank Account and enter the bank name, the opening balance, and the date of the opening balance, and thereafter add that bank account. Thereafter, I can select that bank account, and then all of the transactions for that bank statement or bank account would reflect on the accounts page. The bank statement that I'd like to upload is the sample XYZ bank statement, and this bank statement is in the PDF format. Depending on your bank, you may be able to download your bank statement in CSV or comma separated values format. If that's not available, you can also download it in the PDF format. In this case, I've got this PDF bank statement and I'm going to convert it to CSV. FilingStack supports uploading bank statements in the CSV file format, so I'll convert this to CSV. There are a number of tools that you can use to convert a PDF bank statement into CSV, such as Adobe or Tabula Technology. In this case, I'm going to use Tabula Technology, which is a desktop application which is free to use. And once you download and open the application, you can then import your PDF bank statement. In this case, I've already imported the bank statement and I'm going to click Extract Data. Tabula allows you to select the data that you'd like to extract. So in this case, I'm going to select the data that I need, the transaction rows and the header rows. And then I'm going to click Preview and Export Data. This then shows me the data that Tabula has extracted, and I can then save this file or export it in the CSV format or a different file format. So if I click Export and Save, this would then save the file. In my case, I've already saved this file, so I'm going to use Google Sheets to edit this file to conform to the requirements that FilingStack requires when uploading a CSV file. You can also use similar technologies or similar applications such as Microsoft Excel. In this case, I'm going to use Google Sheets, and I'm going to import this bank statement onto Google Sheets. So if I go Browse and Import, and I'm now going to replace the current sheet with the bank statement data. I'm going to do some editing to ensure that the file conforms to the requirements for files being uploaded onto FilingStack software. I'm going to first delete columns that are not required. FilingStack requires that the CSV file contains only 3 columns, which is the date, the transaction description, and the amount, the transaction amount. So the balance column is not required. I'll delete it. Thereafter, I can combine the debit and credit columns into one. So I'm going to go equals credit minus debit. FilingStack requires that the receipts into the bank account are recorded as positive amounts and the payments going out of the bank account are recorded as negative amounts. So I'm going to do equals credits minus debits. I'm going to drag this down and I'm going to copy and paste it as values so that when I delete these additional columns, the amounts stay. And FilingStack also requires that the only rows that should be on the CSV file are the transaction rows and the header row. So for example, this opening balance row is not required. I'll delete it. The header row should have date, account, and balance as the row descriptions. However, if it's a different description, it should be fine as well. In this case, I'll change it to account and balance. I'll just change the spelling. And I can now save this file as a CSV file, so I'll download it here. It's also important that the date column is formatted as year, month, day, and thereafter you can then upload this file onto FilingStack Accounting software. So I'll go choose file, I'll select that file and I'll click upload file. However, it's telling me that transaction dates are not within the current year. So if I click back, the current year selected is 2022. However, these bank statement or this bank statement date is in the 2023 year. So to add a year, I'll click add year. I'll choose the financials type, the financials period. In this case will be 12 months. I'll click add year. And this then rolls forward or takes me into the next year. And this also brings forward the comparative data for the previous year. So now I can actually upload this file. So if I select that file again and click upload, I can then select which columns have the date. In this case, it's the first column. The account name or the transaction description is the second column, and the transaction amount, the opening balance, is the third column. There's also a sample CSV available. If you click on this, click here to download a sample CSV file. You can download a sample CSV which shows the format that's required when uploading bank statements onto FilingStack. And this is then a sample of the data that's going to be uploaded. So if I click import, this then imports all of that data onto FilingStack software. I can then allocate each of the transactions. And so, for example, bank charges will go to the bank charges account. I can also add additional accounts by clicking add and entering the account name and the account type. I'll complete these allocations. So fees will go to fee income. Fuel can go to motor vehicle. And this debit order can go to, for example, accounting fees. I'll then click save, and this data would then be used to generate accounting reports such as the trial balance. As you can see, the fee income is reflected and the other entries. It also brings forward all of the comparative or the previous year's information. I can also download this trial balance in a CSV format file. I can also view the ledger with all of the transactions that have been uploaded. It also shows me the opening balance as at the beginning of the year, the current year's transactions, and the movement or the flow of funds for this period. I can also view the income statement for this company. It also shows the comparative or the previous year and it also shows the monthly amounts that were received or spent. In this case, I've only uploaded a few days in January, so only the January column is reflected. I can also download this income statement in the PDF format. I can also view the balance sheet or statement of financial position for this company. And FilingStack also generates a statement of cash flow. And I can also pass journal entries. For example, if I'd like to add, let's say, a tax charge, so I can add it at the end of the financial year, 28 February, I'll do tax charge as the description. I'll allocate it to provisional tax and I'll put an amount of, let's say, 10,000 or 1,100 rands. I'll then select the contra account. I'll put it to accrued expenses and I'll then click save, and this would then save this amount. If I go back to the statement of comprehensive income under monthly, it then reflects it in February. If I go back to the 2022 year for this company and open the financials that were generated, I can also download this income statement in a PDF format. And if I click view PDF, this then reflects the financials for this company. These pages I've added, and the financial statements also reflect. There is a spacing issue here, so if I go to the general page, this allows me to enter details for the cover page of the financial statements, and if I go back, this should then be fixed. And if I click view PDF, it has been fixed and the space is now here. We also have additional documentation available on uploading bank statements and on the other features available at FilingStack.com when using FilingStack accounting software. Thanks for watching.